There you are. Departs 02:05 local.
Middle of the night.
Yeah, well, you were the one who said you wanted the first available flight out.
What is it?
7:07.
No movie.
Yeah, at least you're in first class, aren't you? I'll be in the back with the buckets and spade brigade.
You should complain.
We do, constantly. Could I have a lager, please? A cold one. Our firm's not quite as well-funded as yours is.
What is your crazy system? I mean, you go first class outbound.
So we arrive fresh at the job.
But you come back economy?
Because nobody gives a damn about the state we come back in.
So if you happen to be hurt...
You bleed all over the guy sitting next to you.
What's the routing?
It starts in KL, Kuala Lumpur. It stops in Bangkok before it gets here. Bahrain, Athens, Amsterdam, UK.
Now, I asked for a flight home. I mean, not a world tour.
Spend another night in Colombo.
Now, Ross accused me of taking a holiday?
Said all. If I stayed, Burnside would do me for desertion.
Come. Morning, Neil.
Good morning, sir.
What's the news from Sri Lanka?
Good, sir. The conference ended without incident and all the delegates have departed Colombo.
So much for the tip-off about the Iraqis.
Well, all the tip said was there would be retaliation for the arrest of the Iraqis in London and New York. It was our idea they might hit the Colombo conference.
Kane on his way back?
Yeah. He couldn't get on an Air Salon flight for VIPs and their attendants. He's coming back tonight.
I did say it was a waste of time.
The CIA didn't think so. They sent Karen Milner.
Now, sit down, Neil. Reason I wanted to see you. I've written your annual report.
Yes, sir.
I felt obliged, in light of your recent conduct, to say a few things therein that I'd rather have left unsaid.
Understood, sir.
You've demonstrated all too clearly that you're still prepared to take the law into your own hands, to freelance.
I'd accept that, although I think there's a fine line between freelancing and the exercise of initiative.
Perhaps. But the days of the independent operator have gone, Neil. These days, the rule is decision by committee. Decision after proper reference upwards.
It's not always time for decision by committee, sir.
Then you must make time. Your habit of running a private service can only make your masters nervous.
Yes, sir.
And they won't promote someone they can't trust.
Are you saying I'm not recommended for promotion?
Oh, you're not in the zone yet, are you? You've done what, just 18 months as Diops?
What's in the recommendation box, sir?
I'm not obliged to tell you that, Neil.
No, but I would like to know.
Promotion in ordinary course.
I see.
Change your ways, and it'll go back to an early promotion recommendation.
But rather too late.
Sorry?
Well, I can think of at least 3 other people at my stage who must have earlies.
Yes, I'm afraid this is going to put you behind a couple of your contemporaries. But my hope is that you'll take it as an incentive to come into line.
One can't always run an operations directorate off a set of wall charts, sir.
I appreciate that. But you must appreciate that your masters do not trust you. Cannot trust you, not while you treat the other directorates and authority as irritants and idiots.
No, sir.
All right, Neil. Change your attitudes and I'll change my mind, which will change your reports.
Thank you, sir.
So you got any other ideas on the Iraqis?
No, but I still think they'll try something.
Where did the tip come from?
Baghdad station.
Saying that there would be repercussions over the arrest and conviction of the Iraqi terrorists.
Against both Britain and the USA.
I'm surprised they didn't try the Colombo conference.
Too obvious, maybe.
Well, anyway, they probably won't hit both of us at the same time. More publicity from two separate strikes. Talk about getting hit. You okay?
Yes, I'm all right.
Yeah, it sounds it.
I had my annual report this morning from Peel.
Oh?
I've been recommended for promotion in ordinary course, which is the kiss of death at my stage.
Did you give any reasons?
I don't toe the party line.
Well, you can overcome one bad report.
How? I tell you, by agreeing to decision by committee.
To what?
It's Peel's new phrase.
Does that really screw you up?
There can only be one deputy chief at a time. And the intelligence director is more senior to me with a whole string of orders. Anyway, I can't run the ops department like a supermarket. Either I do it my way or I get out.
So do it your way.
If I do that, I don't get promoted. I end up as head of station in Greenland or something. I think I'll quit.
Oh, come on, Neil, don't be stupid.
Why not? I'm tired. I got eye strain.
The hypertension, headaches, yeah, I know. Well, you sure don't help yourself.
Like doing what?
Look, Neil, the reason this is such a kick in the tail is you've got nothing else. Just the office, the job.
I know what you're going to say. You needn't
Well,
bother.
why don't you live a little? Go out to the movies. Have a few dinners.
You know the answer to that. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, all right. I gotta get going. Well, if you ever need me, you know where I am. Okay?
This is mine.
I know how the peasants felt at the gates of Versailles, now. Here, madam.
You're down there, sir, on the left.
If you hear any hammering noises, it'll be me. Building a guillotine in the lavatory. Excuse me.
Sam Law, sir. We've had confirmed reports of an airliner hijack, and we think that Willie Kane is on the aircraft.
Who are the hijackers?
We don't know, sir. The hijacking happened 30 minutes out of Bahrain with the aircraft bound for Athens. First report was at 0415 Charlie.
Do we have a new destination for it?
Well, not yet, sir. It's Malaysian Worlds Flight 505. Originated KL, stopping at Bangkok, Colombo, Bahrain, Athens, Amsterdam, and London.
Did any of the conference delegates board at Colombo?
Well, they shouldn't have, sir. According to Willie's last report, all the delegates went out on earlier flights.
Then why the hijacking? Who's doing? Right, Sam, get on to number 10, the FCO and the Ministry of Defence. Find out if they know of any passengers who could be of interest to hijackers. Ring Ross at his home. Ask him to talk to his people about important Americans. And try and get a confirmation out the airline that Willie is on board.
Well, that's in hand, sir.
Get a control allocated. Bring in Mike Wallace. And you better alert the Deputy Chief. I'm coming in. Good morning, Mike. You controlling, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Any more news?
None of it good, sir. Willie is on the aircraft, and the hijackers are Iraqi terrorists.
So they are Iraqis. But why that particular plane?
No joy on that so far. Duty ops officer? Yes, he's here. Hang on. Jeff Ross is in reception, sir. Will you see him here?
Yes. Send someone down for him, will you?
Okay, he's cleared to visit the ops room, but I'll send down a runner to escort him.
I'll go.
Thanks, Mike. Tom. Sir? Will you set a zone clock to Bravo, please? Duty ops officer? Roger. Copy all traffic. Immediate precedence, Ankara Station.
Turkey.
Istanbul. Sir, the hijackers have ordered the plane to Istanbul.
Maps, Bruce. Turkey, Istanbul, and the ground plan of Istanbul International Airport.
Roger, sir.
E-ops. Take a signal to Anchor station.
Controller 2.
Phone it through, personal from me. Request you send your number 2 to Istanbul soonest. Have him open a direct line to you from International Airport. Keep me informed by phone, even minor developments. Got that? Thanks.
Thank you. You know, sir, it's a Malaysian plane with a mixed Malaysian and Australian crew. So if the Iraqis are doing what they promised and putting the screws on us or the Americans...
There's got to be a VIP among the passengers.
Yes, sir.
Hijack has made any demands yet?
Not that I know, sir, but it'll be for the release of their jailed colleagues, won't it?
Yes, but jailed where? New York or London?
Depends whether the VIPs are American or British.
Well, let's hope they're British.
Sir?
That first concerns Willie, isn't it?
Well, yes, sir.
Well, if it's a British VIP, our government will lead. And they might just take account of the fact there's an SIS officer on board.
Yeah, and if the VIP is an American...
The US government will lead, and we can't influence them one way or the other.
No. Oh, here's Mr. Ross now, sir.
Hello, Jeff. Look, grab a chair, will you? They're diverting the aircraft to Istanbul.
Turkey's better than Libya.
I suppose you didn't get anything on the passengers?
I'm only interested in one passenger, Karen Milner.
Yes, of course. She'd have met up with Willie.
Willie's on board?
Mm-hmm. Look, I take it we're trying to get a complete passenger list out of the airline.
Well, they promised one to the FCO as soon as possible, sir, and the FCO desk will get a copy to us.
Good.
The ops officer?
Ops room.
Yeah.
He's busy at the moment, Colonel. I'll pass you to Mr. Burnside. Sir, MOD link.
Oh. Burnside?
0620 Bravo. Roger.
First class? Right, thanks. The aircraft's carrying the Chief of the Defence Staff and the Chief of the General Staff, returning London from a defence sales presentation in Kuala Lumpur.
Damn it, I was hoping they'd be ours.
Yes, I guess that.
Are they first class, sir?
Mm-hmm. Malaysian government must have paid their fares.
Do you think the passengers are pre-seated in KL?
Should be. They usually are on long-haul flights.
That's in hand, sir. The passenger list has the seat numbers alongside, and we've asked for a plan of the aircraft.
Good. What did you get, Sam?
The aircraft CTA Istanbul is 0620 Bravo.
That's about an hour from now.
Daylight soon after it lands. Can we find out what the ground temperature's likely to be at Istanbul?
We have that, sir. Probably be about 24 degrees centigrade during the day and perhaps 15 or 16 at night.
Well, that plane's gonna be hot as hell once they shut down the air conditioning.
Won't help tempers, will it?
Sure won't.
Be the ops officer? Certainly, sir. Deputy Chief's in, sir. Would like to see you.
Right. You want to come and referee?
Well, I'm not doing any good down here.
Look, keep on the FCO desk about that seat.
Sir.
Come. Morning, Neil.
Morning, sir. You knew Jeff Ross, of course.
Yes. How are you, Mr. Ross?
Lousy. How are you, sir?
Do sit down. Shall I get some extra cups? Thank you, sir. Brought this from home. Margaret seems to think we'll be here for a week.
I asked Jeff to join us because he has a share of the problem. Both Kane and Karen Milner are on the aircraft.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And CDS and CGS are also on board.
So that's what it's about.
We can stand by for demands to release the jail Iraqis against their lives.
Yeah, it's quite clever of them. We thought they'd strike at a British or American target and they go for a Malaysian plane. I knew they'd be more subtle than to go for the Colombo conference.
Yes, well, the plane's due to land in just over an hour. We should get more details then.
Yeah. Well, we can monitor events, of course, but it's a matter for the Prime Minister, really, isn't it?
Is it? With Karen and Willie on board?
Yes, that's a good thought. 2 special operations officers already there.
No, sir, that's not what we mean. You can't expect them to make a move.
Of course not. They're unarmed.
Seated apart, probably unable to communicate.
Seated apart?
The CIA has the courtesy to send its officers first class at end of mission.
Yes, well, it's hardly the time to debate that old chestnut, Neil. Point is, Mr. Ross, SIS is simply a spectator in this game. And the issues involved are rather larger than the safety of one SIS and one CIA officer.
Not to me, sir.
Nor me.
Oh, come now, in any other circumstance, we'd be urging the government not to acquiesce.
Well, maybe we still should. But Willie's a government officer, just like the 2 defense chiefs.
But that's what I'm saying, Mr. Ross. The defense chiefs, Karen Milner, Willie Kane, any other British or American nationals, they're simply pawns on this particular board.
Pawns?
I'm afraid so.
Well, I'm not accepting that.
What can you do?
Create a hell of a lot of trouble.
And they're asking for the release of the Iraqi terrorists.
Immediate release. Those held in New York as well as those held here.
What lever have they got on the U.S. government?
Public opinion, plus 4 American nationals on board.
Important?
To their relations and friends, yes. As far as we can determine, there are 5 hijackers, 4 men and a woman. The woman and one of the men are German, the other 3 are Iraqis.
What's the threat?
To shoot CGS at 1800, CDS at 2000, and to blow up the aircraft at midnight.
How the blades they get on board with guns and explosives?
God knows. The terminal at Bahrain was very busy when the aircraft was there.
So the security check would have been hurried.
All we'd asked was particular attention to be paid to British and American aircraft.
How many British nationals are on board?
14, including children.
Children. There's a DOPC meeting in Downing Street at 10:30.
Are you attending?
I've been invited for what it's worth. But there were no decisions there. The Cabinet will have to thresh it out in the end.
Well, I hope they don't take too long about it.
Yes. On the other hand, you can't expect them to rush into a decision.
No. Well, I'll be in the office room, sir.
Right.
What have we got?
Well, these dots represent the positions of the passengers, sir. There's blue for everyone except the 2 defence chiefs, Miss Milner and Willie.
They're the red.
Yes, sir. The CGS, the CDS, Miss Milner and Willie.
Our 2 in aisle seats.
There were late bookings on it, sir.
Nothing to do with that.
Survival instinct.
First to the loos. All right. Presumably the aircraft's shut down now.
Yes, sir.
But they can still communicate with the outside world.
Yes, sir, through the tower. One of the flight deck radios runs off a battery.
Is this station number 2 there now? At the airport?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Can you give me the time?
No talking!
Get on to the SPT. Ask the Colonel to come and see me as soon as possible.
Take him a couple of hours.
Right, say a meeting at 2 o'clock. And tell him I'd be grateful if he doesn't advertise his presence in the building too much. Not in the 6th floor, at least.
You'll get into trouble again.
Willie's the one who's in trouble.
Yes, sorry. Anything else? PA to the ops? On his way. C's back from Downing Street, wants you.
Right. Tell Sandbagger 2 to stay in the building.
Right.
Best I can tell you is that the Prime Minister now knows that we have an officer on board, and one from the CIA.
But isn't much interested.
Let's say it's not his primary concern.
Is there any indication of what they're going to do?
No. The Cabinet's meeting now.
Well, I hope they don't take those time limits as gospel.
No, I don't think they'll do that. Yes? Put him through. Yes? Very well, I'll come round now, and I'll bring Mr. Burnside with me.
Foreign Office?
Yes, Wellington. I wonder what Wellingham feels about all this after Belgium.
Having me in a hostage, you mean?
Yeah. Sandy, bring my car, will you?
I don't know. He's never talked about it. At least not to me.
Does Kane have a girlfriend?
Not a regular one, sir. His mother lives in Salisbury. But they're not releasing details of passengers, so I think it's better she doesn't hear from us either.
I agree. Has the Deputy Chief spoken to you about your annual report?
Yes, sir.
I'm afraid that I've felt obliged to endorse what he said.
I understand, sir.
But do you understand the criticism, Neil?
Yes, sir. I believe in using my initiative. The Deputy Chief prefers to do things by committee.
You're far too intelligent to interpret it as crudely as that. Look, Neil, I'd have you as my Deputy Chief tomorrow. And for 360 days of the year. But for the other 5, the days when you decide to double deal and bend the rules...
You get nervous?
Not nervous, terrified. We give our directors a great deal of power and a great deal of responsibility.
And as Deputy Chief, I'd have more power and even more responsibility.
That's exactly it. That's what Matthew's trying to get across to you. You can't have the power without the responsibility.
And you mean I'm irresponsible?
Not as you see it, I know. But we're answerable to the government of the day. You can't have the tail wagging the dog.
But you won't allow the dog to bark.
To bark, yes, but it must bite strictly within the rules. Do you want to go around taking lumps out of people and hoping that no one will notice it?
I don't know, sir. That may work for the Ministry of Ag and Fish, but I doubt it'll ever work for the Operations Director of SIS.
And what about the great British public? How do you think they'd feel about a secret service that played to its own rules, independent of the government they elected?
The great British public, they couldn't care less about SIS. But if they ever did, they would demand a service that's dedicated to one thing and one thing only. That's the destruction of the KGB by whatever means available.
Means that justify your running a dirty tricks department?
Well, the KGB's a dirty tricks department, the whole lot of it.
But equally, it's answerable to the Central Committee, and we must be answerable to our government. Let it set the policy, make the decisions.
Yes, well, let's see how quickly it can come to a decision about this hijack.
I doubt if Wellingham's tidings are going to be all that glad.
Yes. And you must be anxious about Kane.
That's our principal interest, of course.
Well, because of that, I thought I'd let you know how matters stand, as I see them in any event. The government is caught, badly. The Prime Minister has announced publicly in a number of forums that it's our policy to stand firm against terrorism, whatever the cost. And thus, if they do give in to the terrorist demands and release these Iraqis from prison, they'll be accused of reneging on a stated policy, encouraging hijackers. On the other hand, if we do stand firm, then CDS and CGS could certainly be killed, and possibly everyone else on board too.
So what's happening?
The cabinet's still in session, trying to decide which way to jump.
Well, I hope they're considering the possibility of an Entebbe-type raid.
That came up at the DOPC meeting. Wasn't greeted with enthusiasm.
No. The feeling is that after Entebbe and Mogadishu, that terrorists must half expect a counterattack and be well prepared for it.
But the SAS is acknowledged to be the best anti-terrorist squad in the world. Without their advice at Mogadishu...
Indeed, but remember that all but one of the terrorists were killed at Mogadishu. This lot must know they haven't a chance either. And if they're going to be killed...
They might as well set off the explosives as soon as the shooting starts.
Just that. Anyway, there's a further complication. The Turks have warned us, and the Americans, not to mount a raid on the airport.
Warned us? We're their NATO partners.
Even so, they feel, understandably, that the plane is on their soil and they should deal with it. And they don't want to be seen to be rescued from the situation by armed raiders from another nation.
Image building.
Well, a bit of that too, I should think. But they have an argument. The plane is neither British nor American.
Do we know what the American attitude is?
They don't want us to give in. The President is convinced, personally, that to release these terrorists could only encourage les autres.
Well, that's very noble of the President. He's probably never heard of a CIA officer called Karen Milner, nor a sandbagger called Willie Kane.
And if Kane wasn't on board?
But he is on board, sir. And there's an unwritten law in the special section that if a sandbagger gets in trouble, someone will go to his assistance.
That's hardly relevant in this instance.
It's relevant in every instance, sir, because if the sandbaggers stop believing it, they'll begin to hold back in crisis situations.
Well, as far as this crisis situation is concerned, those are the facts as I know them to be.
Thank you, Geoffrey. You'll keep us informed of any further developments?
Of course. Neil, I do appreciate your anxiety about Kane. Let's hope it all ends happily.
Yes, sir, let's hope so.
Your unwritten special section law.
Yes, sir?
You feel very strongly about it, don't you?
I have to. Willie will be sitting out there quite calm, sure that I'll be moving heaven and earth to get him out in one piece.
And if nothing comes of it?
Assuming he gets back, I'll never believe it again. I can't mobilize SAS on my own, sir.
I was thinking more that you had a second sandbagger.
And not much I can do with him. It wouldn't be a one-man operation. Besides, he isn't briefed, and the last flight of the day is at 14:20.
Then you had considered it?
Yes, I considered it. Until I realized there was nothing he could do when he got there.
I don't think there's anything you can do either.
No? No, I know.
فضل صلاة تعب بدبت
أني أعرف.
أنت راح تقتلهم؟
إذا جبت. الراديو هناك لسه بيشتغل؟
أي.
مش لازم نفديها.
نعم.
Stay in your seat.
I want to go to the toilet.
All right. You will leave the door open so that Aziz can see you.
Is that necessary?
Everyone else has done so.
But only gentlemen have been until now.
I said you will leave the door open. Stop!
I'm going to the lavatory.
Use the ones at the front.
They're in use.
I said stop! You will wait until the others have finished.
I can't wait. Now make up your mind, Buster. I can go aft, or I can pee here. Only it's gonna smell.
What are you doing?
Going to the lavatory. I have permission.
I have told you! Keep him quiet!
Yes, sir.
Mike, you did Entebbe-type training in SAS?
Some, yes. I wasn't on the first team, though.
What's the minimum number of men required to attack that 707?
SAS, you mean?
Assume so.
Well, ideally about...
Not ideally, the minimum.
To attack something the size of a 707, you'd need to get in 3 men simultaneously.
Just 3?
Well, not for the operation, sir, no. That aircraft's sitting with its doors open for ventilation, but without any stairs to them. So the attackers would have to use portable ladders, say, 2 men to each ladder, that's 6, 9 altogether.
And ideally?
30.
30?
Well, there should be a backup wave to go in immediately after the first lot. Marksmen stationed around the aircraft, explosives team, drivers' vehicles to get the passengers away quickly. But you couldn't get anyone close to the aircraft before nightfall. And they're due to shoot CGS at 1800 their time.
But not Willie. Willie will be okay until they blow the aircraft at midnight.
10 o'clock our time.
Yes.
It's getting very tight, sir. Istanbul's 4.5 hours away. SAS would have to leave here before 5:30 this evening.
I know. What happens if the terrorists close the doors at night?
No problem. You attach limpet grenades, blow the doors off.
It's feasible, isn't it?
Yes. It's also very dodgy.
Less dodgy than waiting to see what happens at midnight.
Is that what the Cabinet's proposing to do?
Oh, I don't know. They're just sitting over there burbling at each other. But I think we'll get weaving.
Anything I can do, sir?
No, I'm going to see Ross, and I've got the Colonel coming at 2 o'clock.
The Colonel? You'd use the Special Projects team?
Why not? There's 16 of them. They belong to me.
Yes, but they're not SAS.
SAS doesn't belong to me.
Can't you get them, sir?
The Turks won't let them in. Maybe a way of fixing that. That's why I'm going to see Ross.
Sir, the SPT, sir, it worries me. I mean, they aren't trained in hijacks. It's a very specialized subject.
It takes 4.5 hours to fly to Istanbul?
Yes.
Then you'd have 4.5 hours to teach them.
And I'm telling you, Neil, the Turks won't let you in.
So put the screws on them.
Who?
You. The CIA.
With what?
You fixed the Cyprus invasion for them, didn't you?
Come on.
Didn't you?
Come on, wait a minute. They got into Cyprus, we got the Greek junta toppled because of it. Both sides got what they wanted. The slate's clean.
And trade on their goodwill.
Mm-hmm. Well, what the hell do you want me to do, Neil, huh? What do you want? You want me to call up the Turkish Prime Minister? Well, I'm sorry, I don't know the guy.
Don't you want to get Karen out?
You know goddamn well I want to get Karen out.
Then phone your director. Have him ring your president of the White House.
How is it going to help Karen if I'm relieved for being mentally disturbed?
Well, your president can then ring the Turkish
and our
president.
president has already said he won't support an infringement of Turkish sovereignty. Anyway, your whole plan's crazy.
Willie wouldn't think so.
Well, he might. I sure wouldn't want your special projects team bursting in there waving guns around.
It's marginally better than having a plane blown up beneath you.
Well, maybe they won't blow up anybody. I don't know. Maybe they won't shoot the defense chiefs.
But maybe they will. And I'll tell you something. If they shoot CGS at 1800, I want a plane taking off 1 minute after loaded with armed men.
Wait a minute. What plane?
British Airways Trident.
Oh, yeah, I get it. SPT's gonna hijack one at
I'll flip
Heathrow.
him up from you,
Buddy, you haven't got a hope in hell. You haven't got Turkish permission to land, and you haven't got an airplane. Hell, Neil, you haven't even got the SAS.
I have got SPT instead of SAS.
Yeah, that's terrific.
I'll pressurize the whole of Westminster into giving me an aircraft. Yeah. And if I have to, I'll send my station chief round to knock on the Turkish president's door and say the plane's just landed.
Except it won't even take off, Neil, if the two governments haven't agreed beforehand. How many times have I got to tell you
Jeff,
that?
When those terrorists landed this morning, they didn't ask for the plane to be refueled. Still haven't. Which can mean only one thing. They're going to keep to their dead.
Well, maybe they'll extend.
Not this lot. This is the same gang that gunned down an LL crew in a London street. Shot it out with the French police in the middle of Paris.
There you go. All the more reason not to send an untrained SPT up against them.
Well, maybe we'll get a miracle. All I know is that SAS has been at instant readiness since first thing this morning. All they need's one word.
Yeah, one word. Which they'll never get. That's no good, Neil. The battle was lost before you even began.
Well, what's the alternative? We go to the Hilton, have a few drinks.
Guess we just sweat it out.
Well, that's what Willie and Karen are doing.
Okay, have you examined your own motives for all of this?
Meaning?
Well, I don't know what's going through your head, Neil.
But it could be that I've lost 4 sandbaggers in the 19 months I've been DOPS.
Oh, come on, I didn't say that.
Well, why not say it? My predecessors lost 1
In 6 years.
Okay, so you had a couple of tough breaks. My God, if it's that close to the surface of your mind, maybe you're in
It's
the
almost
wrong
close to the
business.
surface of my mind, Jeff, but that's not why I'm doing it. Look, I was a sandbagger for 7 years under 3D ops. I never doubted for one moment that they would go to the wall for me, put their careers on the line, pull strings, and if necessary, cut throats. Well, they must expect the same from me today. And I'm damned if I'll let him down.
The Colonel's here.
Good. Get me an appointment with Wellingham, say for 2:30.
Today? You'll be lucky.
Well, say there's been a major development in the hijack operation. I need his advice, urgently.
I'll try.
And ask for C's car to take me over.
Right.
Send him in.
Would you come this way, please?
Thank you.
Colonel Gaines, sir.
Thank you. Hello, Ben. Sorry to drag you from your country seat. Sit down.
That's all right, Neil. Nice to see you. Nasty business, isn't it?
Yes, you're up to date.
Just been to the ops room. Intrigued to know what my part can be.
Well, I'm going to push hard for SAS to do an Entebbe-type raid before midnight in zone tonight.
Yes?
Well, if there's any snag on that, on SAS involvement, I'll offer the special projects team.
But we're not trained for it.
Well, my Sandbagger too's ex-SAS. He can brief you on the way.
Send us to Moscow to blow up a few bridges. Ask us to start a riot. Tell us to sink a Russian carrier at its moorings. No problem. But I don't know the interior layout of a 707, isn't it?
There's a plan in the ops room.
What about equipment? We haven't got stun grenades, any of the specialized stuff.
Then get it quickly or do without.
Why should there be a snag on SAS anyway?
Because the Turkish government won't agree to a rescue operation.
And?
Well, at the last minute, our government might allow us to put in a unit without Turkish agreement. And if it becomes a scramble and there's any form of delay on SAS, at least I can get the SPT away.
To fight the Turks as well as the
Turks
terrorists.
won't fire on a British plane. We're all NATO. And they do get a sizable amount of aid from us anyway.
It's madness, Neil.
Look, I'm not overjoyed by it. But I've got to keep open every possible option until 5:30 this evening.
But I don't think you appreciate the dangers. You can't just pick up any unit and turn it into an Entebbe squad after a half-hour lecture.
You're not any unit. You're the special projects team of the Secret Intelligence Service.
But we're not SAS. Why do you think the Germans have GSG-9? The Israelis have the Siret, the French have the Zhejiang, the Italians have the Squadra Anticommando. Because you need experts in that field. Men who train for it day in and day out.
Just saying you're damn good at the summer exercise, but the real thing's another matter.
Now, that's unfair.
It's unfair that CGS would die at 1800, that CDS would die at 2000, that everyone else on that aircraft will be blown to pieces at midnight.
I know that.
Then get on the phone and get your team mobilized.
To go where?
Get a holding position somewhere to the west of London, where you can get to Heathrow or Brize Norton without wasting a second.
Is that an order, Neil?
Yes, Ben, that's an order. Follow him to the lift, see if he goes up or down.
Right.
Colonel doesn't look happy.
No. I'm going to make waves over in Whitehall. Go for SAS.
Much better, sir.
Yes.
Up, 6th floor.
I shouldn't blame him, but I do.
C's car's outside. Wellingham's cancelled an appointment to fit you in.
Who was it with? The Charities Commission?
Good to see you, Ben. Take a chair. Well, what brings you to town?
Neil sent for me.
Oh, I thought he'd be... Not about the hijack.
Sir, I like Neil Burnside. I think he's a damn good operations director.
Yes?
I don't like going over his head, but I'm responsible for the lives of my team.
Of course.
I want you to give me an order, sir, that for the rest of today at least, the SPT is not to be mobilized without your specific and personal approval.
What's he trying to do?
Rescue his Sandbagger, and I admire him for it, but...
How could he use the SPT?
As a fallback option, if for any reason he can't get SAS.
A raid, you mean?
Yes, sir.
But he hasn't got clearance for a raid.
No, but he's trying to get it.
How?
I'm not sure. I know what he's doing, and I can applaud it, but...
All right, Ben. Don't mobilize your team.
Thank you, sir. I feel somewhat disloyal.
You shouldn't.
Sir.
Philia, I want to talk with C.
It's urgent, I'm told.
Very urgent, sir. We've got about 2.5 hours to get SAS on their way to Istanbul.
To do what?
Take the aircraft before it's blown to pieces.
If you're telling me something new, it escapes me.
Is the government going to release the jailed Iraqis?
The cabinet's still in session.
But?
The Americans won't give in, and our government feels that it can't lose its credibility by succumbing to terrorists.
So CGS can die at 1800?
It's a possibility.
And the government doesn't give a damn?
Of course it does.
Well, then let's try and save the others.
With a raid?
Yes.
It's been considered, Neil, at length, and rejected.
Because of the Turks?
No. The Turks couldn't get negotiations off the ground, principally because these Iraqis don't want to know.
Are you saying the Turks would let in SAS?
Yes.
Well, then why aren't they on their way?
Because there's a very good chance that the terrorists could oppose it.
So what?
So, if we mounted a raid and it went wrong, after the successes of Entebbe and Mogadishu...
Yes?
It would be disaster, politically.
The arguments are then turning on what's best for the government.
Do they ever turn on anything else?
Is that really the way it's going?
Neil, whatever action the government takes on a hijack operation, there's a risk of its being the wrong action. So it's best to do nothing. Prevaricate, hope it'll all go away.
And leave themselves the loophole of blaming the Turks.
And a good loophole, too.
Could you help me to get an aircraft?
What for?
I want to send Sandbagger 2 to Istanbul.
Can't you fix up an HS-125 from Northam?
I need something bigger.
Why?
I want to send people with him.
Not the SPT.
Sir, this could be Kane's last chance, his only chance.
The Cabinet has said no to a raid.
We don't have to tell the Cabinet. I mean, if it succeeds, the Prime Minister can take the kudos.
And if it fails?
Hot-headed ops director in SIS.
I can't be a party to that.
Sir, all you've got to do is tell C that the Foreign Office clears my request.
It doesn't. It can't.
I can't sit in my backside doing nothing.
Neil, the government wants to oppose terrorism. Wants to be seen to be opposing terrorism.
It can do that by raiding the aircraft.
I've told you. The risk of failure is unacceptable.
Decision by committee.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Could I see the Prime Minister?
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, you could fix it.
He's busy.
Doing what? Composing a victory speech?
It will be a victory in a way.
Not for Willie Kane.
And the defense chiefs? You haven't pleaded for them.
I can't save them. And I don't know them.
And the Prime Minister doesn't know Kane.
Sir Thomas Putney.
Yes?
Stand up and step into the aisle. Hurry up! Kneel down.
Oh, my God.
If you're going to execute me, I'd like a moment to compose
Kneel!
myself.
Now!
Oh, no. God, no. Oh, my God, no.
You, Karen!
Use the Mackinac! Stop there! Or I kill us all!
It's all right, everyone. It's all over. Thank you.
When will Kane be back?
Any minute now. His plane was due to land at 13:10.
Thanks. You've, fixed for him to avoid the press?
Yes, and Malaysian World Airlines have agreed a press statement. The terrorists were overwhelmed by 2 of their sky marshals.
Who can't be identified for security reasons.
Doesn't do the airline any harm. Makes people think they fly with protection.
I had to tell C that I wasn't amused by your maneuvering the SPT yesterday.
I wasn't amused by any of it. Encouraged them.
What?
It made rather a nonsense of your decision by committee idea, didn't it?
I don't see how.
Well, the cabinet's a committee, the most powerful in the land. And he couldn't make a decision. He couldn't act to save that aircraft and its passengers. They were saved by 2 junior officers using their initiative and making the rules up as they went along.
What different circumstances. Here, the rules have to be laid down, adhered to.
Well, they're not rules at all, they're excuses.
For what?
For lack of action, for clinging to the safe career-protecting system.
And I suppose you still think you can beat it?
Yeah, but I'm damned if I'll ever join it. Come on, Willie.
Well done, Willie. Jolly good show.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Yeah.
Karen?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, I've got this pack to clear in the next 10 minutes.
Push off, get a coffee and come back.
Okay.
Small point of interest. What was the plan?
Plan?
To get us out.
The government were doing their usual delaying trick. But if the Iraqis had shot CGS at 1800, the SAS would have been on their way 2 minutes later.
I knew it would have to be under cover of darkness.
Well, you needn't worry.
I wasn't worried. I knew you wouldn't let me down.